We just heard the magic word. The magic word that starts with S and ends with stimulus. Stimulus. We have apparently pandemic level amounts of stimulus that could be hitting the market here very soon. We also heard from Trump that more tariffs are coming. What's this mean exactly? We'll talk about it. The Canadian dollar is plunging to really low levels. We'll talk about this. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this one. Also, if you want, you can check out the link underneath the video to Blofin, to BTCC, to WEEX. There, you can start leverage trading. Now is actually a pretty good time to be leverage trading. Let me just pull up one thing real quick. You can see here, we have bounced really close to the downsloping resistance, which every time that we bounce off this has been a pretty good time to be either dollar cost averaging or to be adding to long positions. So you can see we flip this resistance into support. Of course, we can always fall down further. There can be bloodshed. This would shake out a lot of longs if we fell slightly below this line, but we have had a bit of a bounce. Also, if you want to learn more about trading, I have a 40-minute video on leverage trading on the Patreon. So there's a link to the Patreon underneath the video. We do exclusive videos just for the Patreon. We just announced a new AMA as well, a question and answer, so you can get some of your questions answered there. Now, we've been following this. The Trump tariffs have caused a lot of fear. Over the last 24 hours, we have almost $900 million worth of crypto being liquidated. Friday, this spooked the markets. Since then, we've had about 3 down days for Bitcoin. Keep in mind, this is very normal for the beginning of months. Actually, for the last 6 or 7 months, we've seen giant drops in Bitcoin's price. I talked about that in the last video if you haven't seen that video. But the Canadian Prime Minister announced a 25% tariff on American goods, which is interesting. Mexico, I believe, said the same thing. This freaked out the market. We're seeing drops, right? The stock market's now open, but Bitcoin and crypto is open 24/7. Keep in mind, though, that Mexico and Canada exports a lot of products to the U.S., about 80% of their total annual exports. But the U.S., Mexico and Canada only accounts for about 16 and 17% of annual exports. So they're going to hurt a lot more than we are. That being said, there are rumors. This is not going to be very long. This isn't going to take a very long time. These are going to be short-lived. And we're also hearing the Canadian dollar is plunging here today because the Canadian government is reportedly readying a pandemic-level stimulus package to offset the impacts of tariffs. So their currency is plunging. Let's actually look at it here. Let's see how much it's fallen here. Obviously, the US dollar has been really strong in general, but this is the lowest level. It actually, it was almost this low during the pandemic, but it fell even further than that. Let's scroll back even further. Okay, it's below 2016 as well, just slightly below. This is rough. Okay, let me scroll out to the 1 month. Let's see if we can even see a time. Okay, well, TradingView doesn't even show it. This is the lowest level that we've seen since 2003. This is the lowest level we've seen the Canadian dollar go against the US dollar. Okay, this is obviously causing the DXY to look really strong, the dollar strength index. Most likely other countries possibly doing something similar. Typically, we see a bull run when we see the DXY fall down. But yeah, the fact is, if there's a massive amount of printing in other countries or in the US, that's probably going to be really good for Bitcoin. That's what we've seen. We've seen China print a lot of money. We've seen Canada announce that they're going to have a lot of stimulus, print some money. This creates a more liquid environment, more money is floating around, and it goes to scarce assets like Bitcoin. So while this is really scary right now, there's definitely a world where this money eventually flows into Bitcoin. Keep in mind, there's no third party for Bitcoin. There's no government that tells you whether you can or can't have Bitcoin or imposes a 25% tax on Bitcoin transactions or transfers. Of course, you can't have taxes on gains, but there's no kind of tariff on Bitcoin. So this is really interesting. Yeah, I think this could be one of the things that pushes Bitcoin up to new highs. And while we see knee-jerk reactions to things like tariffs, especially when they're talked about on Friday at market close, and then we just have Bitcoin open for trading, we can see drops in Bitcoin's price over the weekend. But typically, this is kind of a knee-jerk reaction. During a bull market, dips are meant for buying. And yeah, Trump has said too that it's not just Canada, it's not just Mexico. He says, am I going to impose tariffs on the European Union? Do you want me to be truthful, or do you want the political answer? The report says the truthful answer, and Trump says absolutely. So most likely more tariffs coming, more uncertainty coming. But keep in mind, Trump has bought through his DeFi project. They bought $160 million worth of Ethereum last month. They bought Bitcoin last month. They bought altcoins last month. Do you think they'd be doing that if they don't think that they can push up the price? Right? Do you think they're in the business of investing hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto and then having it go down consistently, substantially for a long period of time? I don't think so. Trump obviously really focuses on the stock market and the crypto market now too, to gauge success. So I think he's very much going to be paying attention to this. And while there could be some short-term shocks, there could be some more uncertainty, I can see a world where this makes Bitcoin pump up a lot. Of course, we do have a lot of big events this week, so be on the lookout for those. Be on the lookout for the market futures open tonight. Typically, that could be a bit of a shock to the crypto market as well. And the market open tomorrow. We have some big earnings this week as well. Amazon is probably the biggest company along with Google announcing earnings. There could be more volatility. If you want to know what I'm doing, again, you can ask more questions in the Patreon. If you want to trade, like this is a pretty interesting setup. Like I said, we are, depending on where you look, and how you set your lines, we're getting very close to this support. Again, if you use, let's say you look at the supports that we've had in the past, we're within a few $1,000s, maybe $2,000 of a significant support level. Of course, alts are bleeding as well. Let's look at XRP, for example. A lot of XRP fans out there bounced off of 250 up at 262 now. I don't think this is necessarily bearish though. I mean, we have a very similar support here, and it's much lower. It's around let's look, $2.18, $2.13, somewhere in there. Solana, same thing. Ethereum bleeding a lot too. We've hit max pain on a lot of altcoins. We've seen a lot of downside, a lot of liquidations. So don't be surprised if there's some more volatility, either to the upside or the downside. I saw some exchanges sending stablecoins to Wintermute to be able to buy more cryptos, buy their cryptos back at a lower price. Be ready. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on all these new tariffs and all this uncertainty underneath the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.